And yet again, I forget to turn my microphone on. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live stream where we are going to be talking about our plans for 2025 here at the Gristmillen Gardens. My name's Chris. I'm the general manager. I have had the privilege of running this place for the last 12 years, and this place is very near and dear to my heart, and I know near and dear to the hearts of many others. Now, 2025 is going to be a pretty special year for us, most importantly, because it's our 40th anniversary as a public attraction. A little over 40 years ago, the province bought this place, took a few years to restore it, and eventually it turned into the public attraction that you know today, featuring a nearly 150-year-old water wheel powered flour mill, a handful of other very, very old buildings, some of the oldest still standing in the Similkameen, and the beautiful gardens and everything else. Now, we've been really, really fortunate in the last year. At a time when tourism has been diminishing, at a time when things have been really, really challenging in heritage, in tourism, for our local economy, just generally for about 100 different reasons. We last year pivoted and started to do more events that would appeal to locals. And it really paid off for us, where unfortunately, even nationwide, the average attraction like us was down 20% last year. And we were actually up by 20. Through the hard work of the people that work here and volunteer here, through the generous support of our community, we have been so fortunate to come out of 2024 in, I won't say great shape, but certainly better shape than normal. Now, heritage sites are always in this challenging position because, on one hand, our job is to protect and preserve. And when our job is to protect and preserve, a big part of that is taking care of these things and actually working really, really hard to try and make sure that they stay the same that they are. We try to conserve these things. And that means we have to be really careful about how we use them. While there are thousands of different things we could do with a space like this, like putting up mini golf and things like that, it's not something that we would choose to do. So, I guess the place that we need to start is to talk to us a little bit about how this place came to be. And so, let me just scroll back on my other screen here back to my very first picture, and let me show you a little bit about how we got here, where we're at. So this fellow right here, his name is Barrington Price, and he came to the Similkameen and started ranching. Before long, he ended up buying a piece of property and building a mill. In 1877, the grist mill, as we call it today, was actually completed. A water wheel powered flour mill. It became the center of the community that was solely being established in the Keremeos area. Up until the 1870s, most of the people in this valley were passing through. Unfortunately, a lot of First Nations people lost their lives due to smallpox before settlers started showing up. And most of the early settlers that came through here were actually just passing through from east to west and weren't stopping. With things like the mill and other early development, that started to change. And so we ended up with this place. Keremeos grew, moved a few times. Lots happened in the intervening 100 or so years. And then in the 1970s, the community started to advocate for this place to be protected, for this place to become protected in some capacity, perhaps as a heritage site or something else. One of the big problems was the mill itself was starting to get undercut by the creek. And so very early work was done to shore up the mill and make sure that the creek wouldn't destroy it. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, to do that work, highways, to put the resources in, the province had to buy the property, and so bought the piece of property that the mill was on. It wasn't much later until more restoration started. So here's the mill. After the first stage of restoration had been done, when they had managed to redo the bottom logs to make sure the building was structurally intact, but you'll notice there's no water wheel there where we're used to seeing one. So various kinds of work began. First, the basin for the water, where the water from the water wheel would end up. A water wheel was built. Now, unfortunately, this water wheel didn't last very long. It was too heavy. It wasn't designed the right way. It now sits as a lawn ornament elsewhere here on site. Early restoration work happened inside the mill as well, as they worked to fix some of the machinery that they found inside. And by the mid-80s, the mill itself was ready to show to the public. Originally, occasional tours would be offered, if arranged through the local museum, and finally, in about 40 years ago, they finally opened up the white building, the residence on the property, as a visitor center. Now, in those days, where this picture was taken was actually the parking lot, and the site was much smaller than it was. But through the enthusiasm of the community, the site was eventually expanded to include a far larger parking lot and, of course, a proper visitor center building, the one that still exists today. It's amazing to see the parking lot and the tiny little trees that used to exist in that parking lot right here and right here that are full-size trees now, to see the space in the back that's now our campground, and the famous Kyler Page standing right here. So this was what it would have been like to visit the mill in the early 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s. A lot of effort was put into the gardens to make them beautiful. Here is Kyler Page on the right and Sharon Rempel on the left, both of which left very, very important marks on this place. It became a very popular place to visit. Lots of tour groups would come not just to see the history of the place, but also to see the gardens and all of the interesting information that they had. We grew a wide variety of unusual crops here. Here is Kellyanne holding a Moon and Stars watermelon, something that would have been grown a long time ago and then was nearly lost and forgotten, but has since been brought back thanks to folks like Sharon and Kelly and folks like that. Lots and lots of people have worked here over the last 40 years of it being a heritage site, and lots of changes have happened. The community got involved. This would have been for one of our apple days. And here we have some apple pressing happening. The original kitchen, long before the way that it is today. And of course, the province was kind enough to give us highway signs. 20 years in, a campground was added to the site, recognizing that the site needed another source of income. This also happened to be the year that the province privatized the running of this site. And things changed pretty quickly. This is the white building after 20 years, when a lot of things had been taken out, partly for restoration, but also changing ideas of the people operating the site, because it didn't stay the same over the years. By all accounts, the 10 years from when the province stopped running it themselves in 2003 until my team arrived in 2013 were really quite a challenge. Now, I got really lucky. The fellow in the picture right here, Kyler Page, was the one who convinced me to bid on the contract. He was the original general manager of this place, and if you've been around for any amount of time, you might know Kyler. We've been through a lot of challenges even the last few years. This was a picture taken of our beautiful gardens in the middle of one of our bad fires. You can see the color of the sky. And there's certainly been times with COVID, with fires, with floods, with heat dome events, with the last 2 years of crop failure, where things have just felt exceptionally challenging. And yet, we persevere. So, last year, as I said before, was a good year for us. We started off our workshops on things like making sourdough. They were very well attended. We hosted Easter at the gristmill for the very first time. This was something we'd wanted to do for years, but there was another local business doing it, and we didn't want to step on their toes, so we waited. But we had hundreds of people come to our Easter. The site, as it got beautiful through the spring, it was a beautiful start to the year. We hosted weddings. Some of them got a little crazy. We had visitors of all sorts. And we couldn't have done it without our amazing team of staff and volunteers. Here they are getting ready for last year's rodeo parade at the gristmill. And a few weeks later, when we did the Cherry Fiesta Parade in the Soyuz, we won Best Creative Float, a huge ribbon. Congratulations to our team for that. We fed a lot of people, doing a lot of catering work. We hosted a lot of groups. And we had some wonderful unexpected visitors. This is a business called Equines and Wine that was using the site last year to explore the area, doing wine tours on horseback. We hosted a lot of different concerts, generally out of our summer kitchen, but every once in a while, oh, just 1 second, I'm not ready for that yet. Usually out of our summer kitchen, but sometimes we used our mill lawn. Now, our concerts were really, really charming, and we were really fortunate last year to have some really incredible musicians. This little bit of video right here is actually from one of our concerts, the last one of the season, the legendary Canadian singer-songwriter Stephen Fearing. And here's just a little bit from the end of his concert, just to show you how wonderful and charming and amazing these can be.
I want to thank you very much for coming to listen to me, sitting out under the stars. I met some pretty interesting people when I arrived. I've forgotten everybody's name. Lucas, I remember. Thank you, Lucas. Chris, of course, who brought me here. And Kyle, who entertained me for like an hour telling me stories about the grist mill. Well, there was a woman who cooked an amazing meal for me tonight, and I cannot remember her name, and I apologize, but big thanks to the people who run this beautiful, beautiful place.
We were so lucky to have Stephen come, and we're really looking forward to what comes next this year. Now, as I said before, we couldn't do this without some really amazing people. Celia, for example, our head gardener, who's managed to be here through all of the different changes in management in this site, who's been here for well over 20 years, despite having breast cancer at one point, despite other challenges in her life. She is the one that makes this site look beautiful. She maintains the gardens and grounds. I did manage to get another older picture of her, so you can almost see what she looks like. But she's a little shy. Of course, the legendary Kyler Page as well is truly a legend, and nobody knows the site and its stuff better than him. Here he is, just quickly relacing one of the belts on our mill to make it run. And he thinks nothing of this. We are really, really lucky to have him as a resource on this site. We have lots of volunteers that help out. That's Dave. Here are some of our other, oops, apparently you pushed the wrong button and things happen. So here are some of our key volunteers, Yvonne and Judy and Shirley Jean. Again, Dave, who was helping out with one of our events this past year. But let's talk about what's coming up. We want to invest even more heavily in our events this year. We want this to be a place that you want to come multiple times through the year. We want to make sure that if you get a season's pass, you have lots and lots of opportunities to use it. Right now, we're mostly in a down mode. We're doing things behind the scenes. We're getting ready for the coming season. And we are teaching a bunch of workshops. If you go on our website, you'll see a whole list of sourdough, cheese making, candy making. We have a chocolate workshop coming up for Valentine's Day. All sorts of cooking workshops. We're also doing live streams like this one on a variety of topics, including how to take care of your garden, how to read a seed catalog, how to plant the right plants for pollinators, how to grow the amazing Zucca gourd. All of these things, all the live streams are all free. All you have to do is visit pretty much this place about once a week, and we'll have another one for you. But our first real community event for the season is coming up on April 20th, which is our Easter event. Our second year doing it, we are really, really excited. It's almost 3 weeks later because of the quirks of Easter. It's almost 3 weeks later than last year. So being on April 20th, the weather is bound to be gorgeous. There will be hundreds of Easter eggs spread around the site. There'll be other activities, and it's meant to be a very, very affordable family event. So we hope you'll come out and participate in that on Easter Sunday. Just a few days later, on April 25th, we open for the season. We will have a private event that evening for our Seasons Pass holders, where we'll be feeding them and giving them lots of other sneak previews on some things we're still planning. But we look forward to starting to welcome people to the site in late April, assuming weather permits. Our next big event is our Mother's Day tea. That'll be a very special tea with lots of baked goodies, scones, other kinds of treats, a variety of different teas. That will require reservation. That'll all be out in our garden. Next, Father's Day, we're going to be doing a pancake breakfast featuring our famous Miller's pancakes. Now, the Miller's pancake recipe, I don't know if you know, actually comes from Kyler himself. So Kyler, in his younger days, spent a number of years working in forest lookout towers. It's hard to imagine being up there 100, 150 feet off the ground with an expansive view of the forest, all alone. Everything's up there. Your bed and your chair have glass balls on the bottom to protect you in case the tower gets hit by lightning. And so he created this recipe for the Miller's pancakes in this time. Really, it's a fistful of dried fruit, a handful of dried nuts, some other seeds, all in a really hearty whole wheat pancake. So that and bacon and other things we'll be doing for Father's Day. There'll be a variety of activities on site as well that we're really, really excited about. Now, another big event that's going to come back this year and change just a little bit are our night markets. They were so popular for their first year. We were really excited at the number of people that came out and how well it worked, that even on the hottest days, by starting the event late, it was nice and cool by the time people were coming in, and it was nice and comfortable. It was great. This year, we're going to change things around a little bit. We're going to start them a month earlier. We're going to start them in June and do July and August. They're always scheduled on whatever Saturday is closest to the full moon, give us that little bit of extra light. Not that we're going to need it in June and July when the sun sets so late and there'll still be lots of light in the sky, but there will be dozens and dozens and dozens of vendors. There will be entertainment at all of these. There will be delicious food, and they are completely free. So hopefully you can come out and participate in one or more of those. Our Teddy Bear Picnic is also coming back. This has been the most charming event that we've ever done. What a great way to get young people and families into our garden, enjoying it at a much slower pace. Being able to relax and set up a picnic and spend the day and participate in different activities, but mostly it's just hanging out. Thank you to our amazing volunteers that always set up a teddy bear hospital. Thanks to the other presenters that talk about real bears and other things like that. This event has always been a really, really fun one. And one of my personal favorite things about the event has always been the contests for things like cutest teddy bear, biggest teddy bear. It's always a lot of fun. Another thing that's coming back again this year are our summer camps. Our day camps have been growing in popularity. We will be offering again 6 weeks of summer camp through the summer. We will soon be hiring staff for those, but each week has its own theme. There's lots of different activities. It's a great way to keep the kids busy in the summer from 9 to 3. Is it 9 to 3? It's 9 to 3 through the summer. Sometimes, I'll be honest though, things can get a little crazy at summer camp, and sometimes things can get really crazy, but everyone always has a really good time. Another thing that's going to be coming back this year is our Enchanted Garden Tea Party. It also has become one of those events that we just adore because everybody comes in costume. The site has always had a special bit of magic for us, but to watch more magic show up. Adults and children in costume, glitter on everything. I mean, we are so fortunate at how people take this. We even have older people coming with their lyres, with their staff. Now, a new event that we're doing special this year, because it's our 40th anniversary as a heritage site, is we are going to be doing our very own, our first ever gala party. Sometime this summer, likely in early August. We still have to decide on the date. We are going to be doing a gala, a fancy dinner, wonderful entertainment, all organized by us under the stars as a fundraiser to help us celebrate our 40th anniversary and get ready for another anniversary that's coming up in 2 more years, which is the 150th anniversary of when the mill and the White Building were built. We're really, really excited about those. There will be a silent auction. We will be probably opening our time capsule. There was a time capsule placed almost 40 years ago that we look forward to being able to open, at least in part, at this event as well. Enchanted Garden Tea Party. The pictures ended up a little out of order. There's our unicorn that showed up last year. Now, I'm really excited about our concert series this year. I mean, it was hard to top last year when we had John Reichman, who literally has a Grammy, who is one of the best mandolin players in the world, an incredibly kind, generous, popular guy. But we really want to fill our Summer Kitchen stage and our new stage on the mill lawn with the best talent we can. And so this year, while we're still booking some of our acts, I can tell you that John Reichman will be coming back with his full band again this year. We're so lucky that he loves this place. That was our largest, best attended concert this year. We are also talking, I can't say much more yet, but we are talking to another Grammy-winning musician about possibly coming and playing here this year. We have also booked already the fantastic Linda McRae, who will be coming. We have a duo named Showman and Cool, who are some of the best bluegrass musicians. They actually are part of a trio. Anyways, I won't tell you too much about that. But trust me, if you've ever been to any of our concerts here, you are going to love the music that we've got this year. And one of the big things we're going to be changing this year is all of our shows will have local opening acts. We want to support local entertainers. We are going to give them an opportunity to present to a big stage before our main musicians come on. So we're excited about that change. We also have some other tweaks, some other minor improvements we want to make to our concerts. There he is, John Reichman and his band, the Jaybirds. Truly some of the nicest people you can ever meet, and one of our many highlights we're going to have at this year's concert. Another change that I'm really excited about is our Sunday dinners. We're making a change this year. They were incredibly popular last year, and we were averaging almost 60 people at a lot of our dinners, between 50 and 60 at most of our dinners. And so this year, we're expanding them. We're not charging any more for them. They're still a very reasonable $35, still served family style, a very affordable way to enjoy a meal. But this time, we're doing them weekly. We've come up with all sorts of new things that we want to cook. And so we are expanding it to be a weekly thing on Sundays. If you are curious about what the menus are going to look like, all I can say is check our website in about an hour and you'll be able to see the dates of all of our dinners. They were always a lot of fun. Now, our Heritage Fall Fair is coming back for another year, and once again, it will be a 2-day event. Last year's Fall Fair was the busiest one we'd ever had. It was so busy we actually had to hire a shuttle to move people from other parking lots to come here to the mill, and we are doing it again. We are inviting all the same people back and more. We're really, really excited about this event. Also, the pig roast is definitely coming back, although we may have to have a third pig this year because, boy, that was a lot of people to feed last year. It's just a lot of fun. Our fall fair is always a lot of fun. Something else that we did last year that we're going to be bringing back is our sunflower patch up top. We learned a lot of valuable lessons about it in our first year, about how to cut a maze through it. And so with a little luck, we're going to be growing it slightly, making it slightly larger, and planting it a little bit different so that it's an even more enjoyable thing to go explore in the fall. For those of you that didn't get a chance to see it this year, it was about 1/3 of an acre of some really gorgeous sunflowers. Hopefully you get a chance to get up the hill, up into the field up top, and see that this year. We also hope to host some weddings this year again. There's already a bunch on the schedule, but there's always room for a couple more. Truth is, this picture is from our favorite wedding ever, when Rodeo Rex, the dinosaur from Costin Elementary, got married here. We hope to do a lot of catering again this year. We were really, really fortunate, the number of people that asked us to cook for them, and we love cooking for people. The truth is, as a heritage site that is built entirely around food, I mean, we've got a water wheel powered flour mill. We make flour in the summer. We grow amazing things in our gardens. All of our neighbors grow amazing things. How could we not spend a lot of time cooking? It only makes sense. Our Christmas market as well was big and busy, and we look forward to bringing it back in 2025. As well, Tea and Tunes, which has become a very, very popular weekly acoustic jam session that happens here at the grist mill. In the spring and fall, it happens out in our apple house. In the summertime, they often move out to the garden. In the winter, they're actually right here, right behind where I am right now. And today, we had more than half a dozen people all come with, let's see, there was a ukulele, there were multiple guitars, there was a mandolin, just playing through standards, figuring out what everybody knew or didn't know, teaching each other songs, and it's completely free. So if you get a chance, come out to one of our Tea and Tunes. We're also offering some new workshops over the next month or so, and then we'll be expanding it in the fall, winter next year. So we have just announced a second level class for sourdough and cheese making. We've announced an introduction to pasta making class. I mean, come on, we're a flour mill. Why weren't we doing pasta? And then, of course, a chocolate workshop special just for Valentine's Day. Now, there's other things that we've got that we're thinking about doing. One of our favorite ideas that we're working hard on right now is we're talking about getting rid of or adapting our Fiber Arts Day, our Gardeners Gathering, our Woodworking Day. All of these individually have been okay, but there always seems to be bad weather or something else. And so instead of doing those events individually, we're combining them together with some other things to create a whole Heritage Skills weekend. A weekend where our blacksmith will be on site, we'll have a farrier here, we'll have the fiber arts people spinning and weaving and doing all of their work. We will have other people doing, gardening workshops, traditional gardening skills, etc. All across a weekend, just a whole bunch of interesting things to see and do on site. We're really, really excited about that festival. Also, we really want to recognize our 40th anniversary. And one of the ways that we're going to do that, besides the gala event, is we are going to create a special exhibit specifically on the last 40 years of this site. So, if you are somebody that has visited the site before, if you have taken pictures here or you have memories of this place, we want them from you. The way to get them to us is through our website, oldgristmill.ca/memories. We have a form set up where you can upload your photos, where you can share your memories, and the more of these things we get, the better we'll be able to include them in our exhibit. We're going to be taking from our own photo archives. We're going to be taking from Kyler's incredible experience. He's been here for more than 30 of the 40 years that this has been a heritage site. We're going to be able to talk about the things that have happened over the time, the impact of this place, and we would love your involvement in that. As an extension, recognizing that the amazing Kyler Page is getting older, he's in his mid-80s now, we want to take advantage of this opportunity to write a book. This is a project that means a ton to me. We desperately want to make this happen this winter. And it'll be a book not just on the last 40 years, but the last 150 plus. From the time this mill was founded by Barrington Price, when he started to build it in 1876, finished it and opened it in 1877, right through him selling it to the bank and all of the people that have lived here between then and now, its restoration as a heritage site, its evolution through the challenges, all the way up to the present day and possibly into the future. To do this book, though, we need help. This isn't exactly something you can just apply for a grant for. This isn't something that money will just magically appear for us. So we are actively fundraising specifically for this project. On our website, you will find more information about that campaign and how you can participate, how you can contribute, and what the benefits are for contributing. This is such an important project. This is the legacy that we want to leave at the end of our 40th season. It is just that important to us. Oh, I've been talking for a long time. Just want to quickly scroll through the rest of the pictures and see if there's anything else that I want to mention. Our Pantry Share program, where you subscribe and get a variety of our preserves, will be coming back this year in a slightly different form. More news to follow. The truth is, if you want to support us for this year, if you're excited by what we're up to, if you want to help us out, the best thing that you can do is buy a 2025 Seasons Pass. I don't want this to be a sales pitch, but I do want to say that the money that we get early in the season gives us the best chance to set things up well for the season ahead. Lets us do the groundwork that we need to do. And season passes are one of the main ways that we generate that income. So if you are all interested in visiting the site this year, more than once, please get a Seasons Pass. And it means the world to us, and it gives us the kind of funding that we need early on in the year to help make it an absolutely amazing year. Now, one more time, I just want to thank our volunteers. I want to thank the amazing people that have helped make this site happen. Our community has been incredibly supportive of us. We are so blessed by so many people really recognizing how special this place is and finding their own ways to support us, to make sure that we get through the tough times and we're able to grow and expand in the good times. Our staff put a ton of work into this place. Our volunteers, our incredible volunteer pool, help out with the events. They animate our summer kitchen like you see in this picture. They provide so much richness to this place. And we literally couldn't do it without them. I guess that's the end of all my pictures. So let's just go back to me. How exciting. Hello again. Oh, I've talked a lot about quite a few different things. What I would really like is, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to know about, I would love to see it in our comments. If there's something that you want to know about this season, if you have a suggestion, I would love to have your input, your feedback, because we want this to be a good year for you too. We want you to come and visit this place this year. These kinds of places, although they feel pretty stable and solid because they're there for a long period of time, the truth is they require our constant active engagement to be able to continue to thrive. It's not enough to say, oh yeah, I like that place, I visited once. That's how these places die. Often the pattern for a place like this is there will be an upswell of enthusiasm when it's threatened. Back a little over 40 years ago, when this place was being undercut by the creek, and the community stepped up and demanded the province do something with its resources, and they ended up actually restoring the entire mill and then turning it into a public attraction. That happened by the strength of the community. And then it continued to grow. Slower, but it continued to grow. So what I would like is you to re-engage. Please invest yourself. If you see us trying to promote something, help us spread the word. If you've got time, please volunteer with our amazing cadre of volunteers. If you want to just bring somebody for lunch, or you just come to a show or two, whatever you can do would be most appreciated. I hope I've had a chance to tell you a little bit our plans for 2025. We're pretty excited for what's coming ahead, and we really hope that you'll join us this year. Thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you again real soon. Bye-bye for now.